Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start with the new chapter of your English textbook Beehive. The name of the chapter is Packing, and it is written by Jerome K. Jerome, and it is an extract from his novel Three Men in a Boat. Well, this story is based on the theme that daily routines are not as easy as they seem to be, and it is a humorous story and it amuses the readers with the chaotic and confusing situations created by the clumsiness of three friends, all of whom think that packing is a child's play. So, before starting the chapter, let me ask you some questions. The first question is: do you like going on trips? What kind of trips do you enjoy most? How do you feel about having to pack for a trip? Have you ever discovered on a trip that you have forgotten to pack a few things you very much need or that you can't find them easily? Does this make you angry or does it make you laugh at yourself? So you try to answer these questions yourselves. Okay. So now let us start the chapter. All of you look at the screen. So here the author narrates the story, and the narrator starts the story. I said I would pack. I rather pride myself on my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any other person living. It surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris and told them that they had better leave the whole matter entirely to me. They fell into the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny about it. George spread himself over the easy chair and Harris cooked his legs on the table. So here the meanings of some of the difficult words and phrases are given in the right side of this paragraph. Okay, so all of you just look at the meaning of the words given. So here the meaning of pride myself on means I am proud of, and fell into means here accepted, and the meaning of uncanny is strange, weird, and the meaning of potter about means do some unimportant things. Okay, so here in this paragraph the author Jerome says that he thought that his ability to pack luggage was better than others, and he asked his friends George and Harris to leave the task of packing to him. The two friends agreed to his offer instantly, which was strange, okay, for Jerome. And George sat comfortably on the easy chair, and Harris bent his knees uh, as he sat on the sofa, okay, and kept his feet on the table. So, moving on to the next paragraph, this was hardly what I intended. What I had meant, of course, was that I should boss the job and that Harris and George should potter about under my directions. I pushing them aside every now and then with, oh, you, here, let me do it. There you are, simple enough, really teaching them, as you might say. They are taking it in the way they did irritated me. There is nothing thus irritate me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I am working. Now here the meaning of intended means plant, meant, and the meaning of potter about means do some unimportant work. So by saying that he would pack, the writer did not mean that his friends would sit and relax while he would do all the work. He had meant that he would boss upon them while they would do all the works, and he would instruct them and curse them for not knowing the work well, and then he would chip it into sort out the mess that they would create. He was irritated to see them sitting while he did all the work. So now let's see in the next paragraph. I lived with a man once who used to make me mad that way. He would loll on the sofa and watch me doing things by the hour together. He said it did him real good to look on at me messing about now. I am not like that. I can't sit still and see another man slaving and working. I want to get up and superintend and walk around with my hands in my pockets and tell them what to do. It is my energetic nature. I can't help it. So here the author recollects one of the incident. He remembers that once he lived with a man who would sit lazily on the sofa all day through and would watch the writer do all the work. The man would say that he enjoyed watching him go around doing all the work. This would make the writer mad with anger. The writer adds that he could not sit idle and watch others work like slaves. And on the other hand, he liked to check their work, walk around with his hands in his pockets and direct them on how to do the work properly. And he feels that as he was energetic and it was a part of his nature to behave in that manner. Now, moving on to the next paragraph. However, I did not say anything but started the packing. It seemed a longer job than I had thought it was going to be, but I got the bag finished at last and I sat on it and strapped it. Ain't you going to put the boots in? Said Harris. And I looked around and found I had forgotten them. That's just like Harris. He couldn't have said a word until I would got the bag shut and strapped. Of course, and George laughed one of those irritating, senseless laughs of his. They do make me so wild. Now here, the meaning of wild is mad with anger. So here the writer, did not say anything to his friends and he started packing the things. As he closed it, then Harry said that he had forgotten to pack the boots. Then the writer felt that Harris could have reminded him before he had closed the bag, but he thought, that Harris was like that. This was followed by an irritating laughter by George, which made, Jeremy wild with anger. Now, moving on to the next paragraph. I opened the bag and packed the boots in, and then, just as I was going to close it, a horrible idea occurred to me. Had I packed my toothbrush? I don't know how it is, but I never do know whether I have packed my toothbrush. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts me when I am traveling and makes my life a misery. I dream that I haven't packed it and wake up in a cold perspiration and get out of bed and hunt for it. And in the morning, I pack it before I have used it and have to unpack again to get it, and it is always the last thing I turn out of the bag, and then I repack and forget it and have to rush upstairs for it at the last moment and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. So here Jeremy, opened the bag to keep the boots in it. As he was about to close it, he was struck by a strange thought that had he kept the toothbrush or not. He says that he never remembers if he has packed the toothbrush or not. Now Jeremy adds that while traveling, he always messes up with carrying his toothbrush. He has nightmares of not having packed it, wakes up in sweat and looks for it. In the morning, he packs it before using it, then unpacks the bag to get the brush and uses it as it is the last thing that comes out of the bag, and he has repacked the bag. He forgets packing it again. At the last moment, he rushes to his room to get the brush, and finally, he wraps it in his handkerchief and carries it to the railway station in his hand. Now, moving on to the sixth paragraph. Of course, I had to turn every mortal thing out now, and of course, I could not find it. I rummaged the things up into much the same state that they must have been before the world was created. And when chaos reigned, of course, I found George and Harry's 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. Now here, as Jeremy was looking for his toothbrush in his bag, he had to remove everything, but he could not find it. He created a mess and he found his friend's brushes many times but could not find his own one. He kept everything back into the bag one by one and shaking each time, and finally found a brush inside a boot. Then once again he repacked the bag. When I had finished, George asked if the shop was in. I said I didn't care a hang whether the shop was in or whether it wasn't, and I slammed the bag shut and strapped it and found that I had packed my spectacles in it and had to reopen it. I got shut up finally at 10:05 p.m. and then there remained the hampers to do. Harris said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time, and thought that he and George had better to do the rest, and I agreed and sat down and they had to go. Now here didn't care a hang means show no concern or interest, and slam means shut the lid forcefully and loudly. And so here in this paragraph, the author, Jeremy, when he closed the bag, George asked if the shop was there inside or not. As Jeremy was impatient, he replied that he wasn't concerned about it, and then he realized that he had packed his spectacle in it too and had to open it again to get them. Finally, the bag was closed at 10:05 p.m. Then they had to pack the food baskets. Harris said that as they were left with less than 12 hours to leave, they should pack the basket as well. Harris decided that the food baskets would be packed by him and George. And Jeremy agreed to this, while his friends packed the basket. Now they began in a light-hearted spirit, evidently intending to show me how to do it. I made no comment. I only waited, with the exception of George. Harris is the worst baker in this world, and I looked at the piles of plates and cups and kettles and bottles and jars and pies and stops and cakes and tomatoes, etc., and felt that the thing would soon become exciting. It did. They started with breaking a cup. That was the first thing they did. They did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. Then Harris packed the strawberry jam on top of a tomato and squeezed it, and they had to pick out the tomato with a teaspoon. Now here you see George and Harris, they already started packing the hampers in a happy mood, and they wanted to show Jeremy that they could pack well. And Jeremy waited for them to create a mess because he considered Harris to be the worst baker in the world. And Jeremy looked at the piles of plates, cups, kettles and bottles, jars, pies, cakes and